We are going to be talking about the movie The Road, which is available now from SP Releasing. This movie is also known as Fury Race in France. This comes to us from writer-director Vijay Nas, also known as Nasif Ali. Nas, who's pretty much a one-man machine behind this movie, doing everything from lighting to stunt choreography. The story behind the movie is quite an interesting one. Apparently, Nas has been working on the movie for the last 10 years. The budget's around £130,000. The production of this movie is somewhat troubled. Nas had a number of personal tragedies and other setbacks culminating in a court injunction out against this movie, preventing it being released in the UK, essentially meaning the film is actually banned in its native UK, but it is getting a US release. Part of the strategy of the movie was to cast upcoming UK music talent and a number of reality TV stars from shows like Big Brother and The Geordie Shore, the equivalent of the Jersey Shore in the States. The talent may be familiar to those in the UK, but will mean very little to the rest of the world, so this stunt casting was a moot point. It's also apparent that the talent on screen are not professional actors by trade, a point we'll discuss further. The movie centres around a character called Shocker, played by Cameron Can in his first feature. He's a drug dealer that wants out of the life, but his younger brother is killed in gangland violence. Shocker is pulled back into his old habits, dealing with various factions within the criminal underground, and he wants to bring his killers to justice. The police chalk it up to gangland violence are seemingly uninterested, so only Shocker can seek revenge against his brother's killers. On the surface, you could say this movie is a cross between Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Top Gear, as the camera loves to oogle a variety of sexy automobiles and its supercar fantasies. However, on the subject of fantasy, I think the filmmakers genuinely believe they were making a hard-hitting urban gangster thriller, when in reality, it's a wish-fulfillment movie for Poundland shoplifters who play too much GTA and have delusions of grandeur. But what does work? Director Nas has some interesting directorial choices. Showing you info blasts of all the cars and hardware as the film uses a kind of heads-up display that when they are introduced. It gives the movie a somewhat of a video game feel, which adds to its GTA aesthetic. However, on the side note, it did cut into a dialogue a couple of the times. I also appreciate the use of flashbacks being a kind of sepia tone, letting the audience know when they're actually watching one. There was also a couple of well-choreographed fistfight scenes that feel authentic and brutal. Ray Sinclair stands out among the acting department as the slimy crime boss who is equal parts threatening and charming. There's also a couple of small parts that are played quite well, particularly the police characters from the beginning of the movie. And as mentioned before, there are lots of fast cast to coo over. I expect most of the budget actually went on hiring these for the movie, and there is one short car chase sequence. Which leads us to the negative issues. As mentioned, the decision was made not to cast actors for many of the roles, and this hurts the film in a big way. The performances are somewhat comically bad. There's odd casting decisions as well. One of the crime factions, for example, is run by three pretty boy brothers. In reality, these are TV stars and have different accents from all over the country, which makes them quite hard to believe they're actually brothers. I feel a lot of dialogue here is improvised, and these apparent brothers calling each other mate on various occasions. Which brings me to our next point. If you are outside of the UK, you may struggle to understand some of the dialogue here. It's very London slang heavy, and even being just over an hour outside London myself, I was struggling to catch everything that was being said. The Shocker character, who was our main protagonist, is somewhat of an unsympathetic lead. He is a drug dealer, he murders people for no apparent reason, and really comes across as not the sharpest tool in the box. Cameron plays Shocker with a constant scowl on his face, obviously to tell the audience that he isn't to be trifled with, but it comes across as rather cheesy, and can seem somewhat unconfident in the role. There are problems with the plot too. To name just a few, at the beginning of the movie we see Shocker offered a deal by the police, but it's never really mentioned again. Shocker on a number of occasions seems to be able to effortlessly walk into his enemies' buildings and get the drop of them without so much as a lock on the door or any means of security. There is a twist in the movie that anyone can see coming a mile off, apart from our main character, Shocker of course. Perhaps the main thing is he's happy killing anyone for no real apparent reason, other than they might have been involved with something to do with his brother's death simply by virtue of being a criminal. We don't really ever see him try to investigate or interrogate anyone outside of asking a simple "did you kill my brother?" question, in favour of snapping someone's neck or blowing them away. The gunfight scenes are poorly executed, with Red Shirt seemingly lining up to get shot, and there are virtually no female characters to speak of outside a couple of strippers and a few background characters that have a few lines here and there. Overall, I consider this movie has ambition. Nas does have talent as a director, but he needs to hire actors over stunt casting and perhaps work on someone else's script, or at least have someone touch up his own script. If you are a fan of UK gangster movies, then you may be interested. The one thing I can say is you will have fun with this movie, but maybe not in the way that the filmmakers intended. This movie gets a 4 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.